It's John Bowden with Rock History Book. Remember the days before the internet? Sometimes if we didn't pay attention and we were having too much fun, we wouldn't hear about the fact that someone as big as Elvis has died. Of course, I found out the afternoon it happened in 1977. But Elvis was a different thing. That's the extreme example of not finding out someone so monstrous in music has passed away. But before the internet, we didn't always hear about these things. It's kind of like when you watch the memoriam section of the Grammys and you go, or the Academy Awards, and you go, what? That person's died? Even today, we're surprised. So we're doing a redo on part one of Artists Who Died Without Fanfare. Whenever we put one of these out, there's always folks who go, I know all of these. That's good. I'm glad you do. Or some who say, I had no idea that guy died. And it's not like we're trying to make you feel sad, but maybe you should know. 5 Artists Who Died Without Fanfare, Part 1 on Rock History Book. It's 5 singers who died without much fanfare, Part 5. Dan Peek of America, an amazing singer-songwriter known as that third member of the band America, along with Dewey Bunnell and Jerry Beckley. He was born Daniel Milton Peek, November 1st, 1950, in Panama City, Florida. They formed the band America in 1970 in London. The trio met as sons of U.S. Air Force personnel. He was a great guitarist and sang the high harmonies as well as lead vocals, and wrote or co-wrote 4 Hot 100 singles for America. Don't Cross the River, Lonely People, Women Tonight, Today's the Day, as well as many album cuts. In 1977, Dan Peek left America. The rock and roll lifestyle was just too much for him. And by 1979, he renounced it all, renewed his Christian faith, and was a pioneer in the Christian rock scene, releasing his first album, All Things Are Possible, in 1979. In the 1990s, he spent a lot of his time semi-retired, living in Grand Cayman Island. In 2004, he published An American Band, The America Story, his autobiography based on America's most successful period, and his own spiritual journey. Dan Peek died in his sleep at the age of 60 in his home in Farmington, Missouri, July 24, 2011. Andrew Gold. He was a multi-instrumentalist, singer, songwriter, and record producer. He was born Andrew Maurice Gold, August 2, 1951, in Burbank, California. Gold was a major influence on the LA scene for pop and rock in the 1970s. In his early years, he was a member of the Los Angeles band Brindle, along with Kenny Edwards, Wendy Waldman, and Carla Bonoff. He was a backup man for a lot of people, but most notably Linda Ronstadt, including her breakthrough album in 1974, Heart Like a Wheel, playing a lot of the instruments on You're No Good, Ronstadt's only #1 single. He also played on When Will I Be Loved, Heatwave, and a lot of other hits. He was with Linda Ronstadt from 73 to 1977, full-time, and sporadically after that. His debut album was released in 1975, simply titled Andrew Gold. In 1977, he had the hit single Lonely Boy off his second album, What's Wrong With This Picture. It reached number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100. In 1978, the single Thank You for Being a Friend from Gold's third album, All of This in Heaven Too, peaked at number 25. Later, of course, it gained popularity as the theme to the Golden Girls. Throughout his career, Gold collaborated with a lot of artists: the Eagles, Jackson Browne, James Taylor, Joni Mitchell, Eric Carmen, 10cc, Trisha Yearwood, Winona Judd, Vince Gill, Celine Dion, and many others. In the 90s, he produced, composed, and performed on a lot of film work, commercials, did theme songs for sitcoms like Mad About You. On June 3, 2011, after being diagnosed with kidney cancer, he died in his sleep from what was suspected as being heart failure at the age of 59 in Los Angeles. Harry Nilsson, American singer-songwriter who achieved the peak of his success in the early 1970s. He was born Harry Edward Nilsson III on June 15, 1941 in Brooklyn, New York. He debuted on the RCA Victor label in 1967 with the LP Pandemonium Shadow Show. Followed that up with a variety of releases that included a collaboration with Randy Newman, Nilsson Sings Newman in 1970, and the original children's story The Point in 71. He released Aerial Ballet in 1968. It was an album that included a rendition of Fred Neil's song Everybody's Talkin'. It was a minor hit at the time, but became very popular a year later when it was featured in the film Midnight Cowboy. earned Nielsen's first Grammy Award, and it was a top 10 hit, reaching number 6 and his first Canadian number 1. The album also contained Nielsen's version of the composition One, which would later be recorded by Three Dog Night. They brought it to number 5. In the beginning of 1970, he formed a very close relationship with John Lennon and Ringo Starr. And by the way, he was profoundly affected by Lennon's death in December 8, 1980. Nielsen joined a coalition to stop gun violence, and he overcame his preference for a lot of privacy in his life to make an appearance for a gun control fundraiser. In 1971, Nielsen released his 7th and most successful album, Nielsen Schmilsen. It yielded the number 1 hit, Without You, a power ballad written by Welsh songwriters Pete Ham and Tom Evans of Badfinger. It featured an amazing arrangement and soaring vocals. It also earned him his 2nd Grammy Award. In 1972, Nielsen released his 3rd single from Nielsen Schmilsen, titled Coconut. It was a novelty song, a calypso song, that reached number 8 on the US chart. That was his last top 10 single. He made his last concert appearance September 1st, 1992, when he joined Ringo Starr and his all-star band on stage at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. He sang Without You, with Todd Rundgren handling all the high notes. Nielsen was born with congenital heart problems, and he suffered a heart attack on February 14th. He survived. That's around the same time he started pressing his old record label, RCA, to release a box set, and at the same time trying to finish his one final album. On January 15th, Harry Nielsen died. That was 1994. He passed of heart failure in his California home. He was 52. Harry Chapin. He was an American singer-songwriter, philanthropist, and hunger activist, best known for his folk, rock, and pop songs. He was born Harold Forster Chapin on December 7th, 1942 in New York City. His debut album came out in 1972. It was called Heads and Tails. It became a big hit due to the success of his top 25 Billboard hit, Taxi. The tune also became a top 5 hit in Canada. By 1974, he released his most successful album, Verities in Balderdash. It sold 2.5 million copies and included the number 1 hit, Cats in the Cradle, a song about a father who never really has time for his son, but wouldn't you know, his son grows up to be his father who doesn't have time for him either. The song earned Chapin a Grammy nomination for Best Male Pop Vocal Performance, and he was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. He was always a dedicated humanitarian. He fought to end world hunger. He's known to be a key player, by the way, in the creation of the Presidential Commission on World Hunger in 1977. We lost him on July 16, 1981. He was fatally injured in a fiery traffic collision with a semi-trailer truck outside Jericho, New York. He was traveling on the Long Island Expressway. He was planning on performing a free benefit at the Eisenhower Park in East Meadow, New York. Passerbys managed to help Chapin get out of the fiery car. It was a 1975 Volkswagen Rabbit. The singer was taken via helicopter to nearby Nassau County Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead from internal bleeding. He was 38. Alan O'Day, an American singer-songwriter best known for writing and singing the 1977 hit Undercover Angel. What a catchy song that was. He was born Alan Earl O'Day on October 3, 1940 in Hollywood, California. And he wrote songs for a lot of memorable artists. Helen Reddy's number 1 hit, Angie Baby, and the Righteous Brothers' number 3 gold hit, Rock and Roll Heaven. They were both hits in '74. O'Day released his debut album in 1973, Caress Me Pretty Music. In 1977, though, the world kind of opened up for him as the guy with his name on the cover. The album Appetizers, which included the million-selling, gold-certified number 1 single, Undercover Angel. There was a follow-up single, Started Out Dancing, Ended Up Making Love, but that only made it to number 73. In the 1980s, he moved from pop music to television, co-writing nearly 100 songs for the Saturday morning Muppet Babies series. That one aired from 84 to 91 on CBS. In the 90s, he wrote and performed music on the National Geographic series Really Wild Animals. Alan O'Day died on May 17, 2013, after a battle with brain cancer in Westwood, California at the age of 72. May they all rest in peace. And thank you, Jason Close, for doing such an amazing job researching this piece. We love you, Jason. Make sure you comment on our videos, subscribe to our channel, and share our videos. You have ideas for other videos in this series, or maybe your thought of your own series. Put them in the comments section. And remember, buy a t-shirt, help support our channel. I'm John Bowden. This is Rock History Book.